Hi everyone, I'm Marianne. I'm a visual artist and voice coach from Singapore, currently in Singapore, and welcome to another installment of my vlog series, Find Your Voice. So this is a series where I share whatever it is that I've learned as a person who sings, as a singing instructor, as a voice coach, and stuff that I learned even from working with different clients, because even in their singing practice and in their journey and in whatever I can support them in, I learn a lot of things about what this journey is about anyway. And it also brings to mind a lot of things to share in this vlog series. So what I wanted to talk about today is about singing and self-acceptance, and how is that related? And this is something that I got inspired by my client earlier today, and I can't remember exactly what it was she said, but that triggered the thought in me that a lot of our ability to be able to express ourselves and to be able to sing, if that is what you want to do, has to do also with how much we accept our voice for what it is. And if you don't like your voice, and if you don't like the way you sound, you're less likely to want to use it. It's pretty logical in that sense. If you don't like the way you sound, you're probably not going to want to talk as much as someone who likes the way their voice sounds. So what I wanted to share today then is that, how is singing related to self-acceptance? How is our voice related to self-acceptance? So our voice is something that's very intricately tied to who we are. And it's the one thing that we were able to do ever since we were born. Other than, poop and pee, which are natural bodily functions anyway. But I mean in terms of, expressing ourselves and communicating, our voice is something that we already had the use of naturally ever since we were born. We may not be able to speak at that time, but using your voice has nothing to do with speech. Like, speech is a learned skill that you picked up later on as you were growing up, by mimicking the people around you, and that comes from a survival thing where you need to communicate. But when you're a baby and when you had, no words yet, your voice was the primary way that you communicate to the people and to the world around you, and how you expressed yourself. And it's no different now. It's just that now, we have language, and so that also means we're a bit more controlled in our self-expression. But ultimately, that voice that you have, the voice you have right now, is still very tied intricately to who you are. And not only that, one reason why your voice is unique to you and you alone is because it carries with it every single thing that you have experienced in your life. It is all reflected in your voice. Your life experiences, whatever childhood traumas you have, your breakthroughs and your wins, your losses, your emotional state, your thoughts. Sometimes, if you're thinking of something as you're saying something else, it comes across as well. And a lot of times, communication is not just verbal, it's also in your body language and also in the tone of your voice. So our voice carries with it a lot more than we think it does. And because it is so intricately tied to who you are, if for whatever reason you don't like your voice and therefore you want to come, and get coached on it, and you want to improve on it so that, it sounds better, that is already a misalignment to begin with. Because when it comes to working on your voice, you have to be okay with where you're currently at. If you're not okay with where you're currently at and you keep wanting to improve on it, then you run the risk of maybe pushing yourself a little bit too hard to try and improve, so that you can get to that endpoint that you want a lot faster. But really, the funny thing about our voice is this, the current limitations that you have with your voice. For example, let's say, you have a very limited vocal range. That current limitation that you have is also the current strength of your voice, because in that limited vocal range that you have, that's also where your voice is at its strongest at this point in time. So it's a very different way of framing it, that instead of looking at what you're lacking in, instead of looking at what you're limited in, we want to see what you already have. And what you already have is a great place to start. Then we can look at strengthening what you already have, and then we push that comfort zone a little bit at a time until you are more comfortable with expanding, that current limits that you have. And then we keep strengthening that and then expanding further, and then we strengthen that and we expand further. until the point where you know, reach the standard that you want or you think that you want. So this is where the self-rejection part can be a little bit tricky, because sometimes when people talk about self-improvement or becoming better, or they want to, you know, improve their voice or improve themselves or develop themselves, it doesn't necessarily come from a place of wanting to be better for the sake of being better or for the sake of improvement. It sometimes comes from a place of lack, where they believe that they're not good enough. And in the case of singing and the voice, you know, they believe that their voice doesn't sound that great. They wish they could sound more, you know, fill in whatever adjective you want, you know, more feminine, more powerful, more masculine, sweeter, kinder, less rough, you know, all sorts of things that we put on ourselves because we think that we lack something, and therefore we want that thing that we lack. Or we you know, reject what we have because we want to get something else in place of it. And that's really not the most forwarding way of, you know, working on ourselves, because it still comes back down to you accepting yourself as you are before you can start thinking of how do I want to expand from here. And coming from my own experience, I totally get this, because I'm the kind of person who always thinks that, you know, I'm not good enough and therefore I have to prove myself. And by proving myself, it means that I have to be better than everyone else. I have to be faster. I have to be smarter. I have to be, you know, well, you know, I have to win everybody else in everything before I can feel that I'm good enough. And of course, that never happens. So clearly, you know, it's like a never-ending loop that doesn't go anywhere. And it really does not forward me or anyone in that case. So coming back to the voice, right? Well, when I was younger, for some reason, I always thought that I sounded very low, like my voice sounded very low, and that I sounded like a guy, and I hated it. I hated the way my voice sounded. I hated the way my voice sounded, not just, you know, the way I hear it when I speak, but and especially more so when I hear a recording of my voice. It's like, oh, is that how I really sound? And I know a lot of people have that reaction to their own voice, not to mine, obviously. And the funny thing is, you know, when I look back at recordings of myself when I was a kid, and I hear my voice, you know, in the recording, and it's like, oh, I sounded like a kid. I don't know why at that point in time in my head it sounded like, you know, I sounded like my voice was really low. And I was always worried that people would think that, well, specifically guys, would think that, you know, my voice sounded too masculine and that I wasn't feminine enough in my voice. And well, as a person, I'm not like that. You know, I'm not like the girly girl to begin with anyway. And for some reason, you know, when I reached my teenage years, I just had it in my mind that, you know, guys like girls who are feminine and who are girly and who, you know, are more demure and sweet, and you know, they are like, they wear nice dresses and they're pretty and whatever. And you know, my voice did not fit in, at least the way I heard it in my head, did not fit in with that idea of what I thought guys would like. And so I would purposely make my voice sound higher, so that I would sound sweeter and more gentle and more demure. And yeah, and you know, when I talk to guys, I have to show like the side of me that's more accommodating and more you know, wanting to wanting to be nice and wanting to be friendly and like care for everybody. And this is how I would sound sometimes when I speak with the guys that I'm interested in, because I'm trying to portray a certain image of myself, you know, to make myself more attractive to them. And honestly, I can tell you most of the time it didn't work. Because you know, the problem that I had, it still came back to myself. It had nothing to do with the way my voice sounded. It had to do with my own inability to accept myself, my voice, for what it is. Well, accept my voice and hence accept myself for who I am. And you know, the moment you can't accept yourself for who you are, and then you're trying to get someone else to like you, well, you know, if you don't even like yourself to begin with, how are you going to get someone else to like you or to see you for the amazing person that you are and like you, if you can't even like yourself for who you are? So this is the thing with singing, you know, we want to be able to accept our voice as it currently is. And then from there, you start to look at how do you strengthen what you've already got. Because I can tell you right now, whatever state your voice is in, no matter how horrible you think it is, there is a lot to work with already. And the key thing here is, are you allowing yourself to really get started on that? Are you allowing yourself the chance to express it? Because the other thing also with the voice that's really funny is that, when you don't like your voice, you're not going to want to express it as much, right? But then the key to unlocking this whole, vicious cycle of self-rejection and not accepting your voice and not accepting yourself is to allow yourself to express that voice, no matter how much you detest it and no matter how much you hate it. It's like, you gotta give yourself a chance to express it. And the funny thing too is that, the more you use your voice and the more you allow it to be expressed and the more you listen to yourself over and over again, because part of the journey of singing also is that you have to record yourself as you sing, because otherwise you have no reference to see how you have progressed along the way. And what I've noticed, at least for myself, is, after recording myself so many times, after recording a number of vlogs now, after recording a number of singing videos now, when I actually play them back, I'm not as irked, as I used to be about my voice. I actually find that, I do enjoy hearing my voice. I do enjoy the way it sounds. Sometimes I would nitpick about little things like, I sound a bit funny here, or this note sounds off, but that's just the perfectionist in me. And I started to learn over time that if you cannot accept yourself for who you are, if you can't accept your voice for what it is, then no matter how you try to improve on it, no matter how you try to better it, no matter how you try to become a better speaker or a better singer or a better communicator, it's never going to be enough, and it's never going to be authentic and real, because it's not coming from who you really are. It's coming from a place of, I have to be better and I have to prove myself and I have to be good enough and I have to, sound a certain way in order to get people to listen to me, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself as a reason why you should improve your voice and improve your singing. So if you have enjoyed today's video, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, or you can also directly message me or email me. Ways to contact me are also written in the write-ups with these videos. I look forward to hearing from you and what you have, any questions you have about what I've shared today. And I look forward to creating more such content, because, as a voice coach, I'm really here to work with you, not just on improving your voice, but really coming to a place of coming to a place of love and acceptance, not just for your voice, but also for yourself. And from that place, then we see how you can expand and start to grow and become an even more true and authentic version of yourself. Because to me, that's what this singing journey is really all about. I will see you next week.